Hi there. Last time you saw me prepare the inside of the catamaran top. Now I will proceed with the bulkheads. I need to cut holes in the bulkheads so that I can reach into the compartments when I put these panels in place. The bulkhead aft of the centerboard case will need to be only a fraction of this full mode bulkhead. Thus I cut off most of the material. Check it and clean off the masking tape from the build before trying it. I can use the old cutouts from the first hull as a template, but it could also be done on freehand. I want a frame that is about 4 cm wide on the top. That is in addition to the actual tower part. On the side I want the frame to be about 2 cm wide, and in the bottom just about 1 cm should be sufficient. The purpose of this bulkhead is to carry the load from the bow. The last tower bulkhead will carry less load. Thus I will only keep the top part. When I have drawn the cut line, I start drilling a starting place. As I drill from both sides, I get less debris around the edge. I will use this hole as a starting point for the jigsaw. I can cut the last tower bulkhead without a starting hole, as this bulkhead is just the upper part. The reason for keeping this small is to save weight. Here in the third tower bulkhead, I need a drill hole. I cut just outside the line, so that I have some trim margin later on. With this thin frame as a bulkhead, I save a lot of weight. I cut a new aft centerboard case bulkhead, and then the second tower bulkhead. This bulkhead also acts as a forward centerboard bulkhead, thus this thicker sidewall. Now the first tower bulkhead. And then I'm done with the jigsaw. Instead, I use a sander to trim the bulkhead to the line and to round off the edge. It doesn't give the result I want, and thus I turn to the router. I round off the inward edges, as this will help the later glassing to take the bend. When I'm done outside, I move indoors. This is the bulkheads I have made now. There is one more bulkhead that I made earlier. The stern bulkhead will be fitted here, and I need to roughen up the surface before I can glue it in place. With a 40 grit paper I prepare the surface. I need to strengthen the bulkhead for the rudder fittings. So I draw 2 small pieces of 10 mm plywood and cut them off. These will sit around the holes for the fittings. I make up a batch of thickened epoxy and start gluing the strengthening pieces. Pre-wet the hull around the stern, as well as the stern bulkhead. I notice I have to get the bulkhead to stay in place. With screws pointing out from the hull, it should be possible. I also take help from a couple of clamps. Then I can screw the bottom screw in place, and it pulls the bulkhead down in place. The side screws will secure the position. Now I can add the strengthening piece at the top. Make more thickened epoxy to fill the voids around the stern bulkhead. As I have a lot of cotton fibers in this mix, it will be light, but still strong enough to compete with the plywood. I finish with securing the filler in place. The day after I can remove the screws and scrape off some excess before I start sealing off the plywood. I want to have glass on this surface so that it's ready for the next step. I use thickened epoxy to make the edge a bit round before I put down strips of glass. When the inside is glassed in, I can paint parts of the inside to make it easier to paint the whole inside after assembling the top. That will be in the next episode. Hope to see you back here then.